All right, guys, welcome back to another video. My name is CFI Munden. If you guys like this video, leave a like and subscribe. It would help a lot. So, all right, real quick, a message on the soloing. All right, if you are pre-solo, if you're not a student yet, but you will be, you're going to come up upon a moment in time, the legendary moment, you know, everyone talks about where the instructor just gets out of the aircraft and lets you go for the first time on your solo. It's a big deal. Don't get me wrong. You're going to remember it for the rest of your life. However, I have found something to be kind of annoying. And I'm not saying it's a student's fault or anything. Okay. I think we have an overemphasis on the solo. I think that there is too much of a priority on getting the student soloed as fast as we can or as effectively as we can rather than like training a good, safe pilot. Let me give you an example, right? Let's pretend like there's a 15-hour student who knows that he's getting closer to that point of soloing, okay? But he's not there yet. He's still struggling to pick up on the energy management and the flaring. He's coming in flat, or he's forgetting critical items like flaps or gumps or whatever it is. He's just not there yet. He just needs more repetition. The problem is that when you compare all of your landings to your eventual solo, okay, when you have a bad landing, you're like, oh, there goes my solo. You know, I'm not going to be able to solo now. Or, you know, if you start thinking things like, oh, I need to show my instructor a good landing so that I can solo, you're not putting emphasis on what's really important, which is learning how to fly the airplane. You're caught up in the theatrics, you're caught up in the drama, the passion of flying, the Instagram photo, the flex. That's what you're focusing on. You don't really care about whether or not you're like super safe. I don't mean perfect, but the energy is going to the wrong place. You need to forget about it. When you are ready to solo, you are ready to solo, okay? When I say forget about the solo, that gives you more space and more opportunity mentally and emotionally, spiritually, to focus on just being a part of the plane, being in the moment, relaxing, taking a deep breath, not putting so much pressure on yourself, not so much stress. Okay, when you are ready to solo, you will be ready. But having this overemphasis on soloing is going to make your landings worse because you're not comparing it to being a safe pilot and to being better at flying an airplane. You're comparing it to that moment to when you eventually get to solo. Now, of course, there does become a fine line where you may, like, for example, I got like 50 hours in and then I wasn't soloed and then I switched instructors and I was soloed 3 hours later. Okay, so it's like, you know, at a certain point, you're like, okay, I should have been soloed right now. Maybe I have seen moments where the instructor has generally been like way too picky on the landings. Like if I ever expected perfection from a student before sending them on a solo, I would have no one soloed ever because none of my students go up buttering every single landing. They can use a little bit more rudder, a little bit more energy, better energy management. Timing of the flaps could be better, but generally if they're speaking and or if they're safe, if they're doing the radio calls, and if they are showing competency, like that's good enough for me. They're not damaging the plane. Sure. Yeah, it was a little bit of a flat landing or a little bit side loaded, but it was safe. Okay. That's generally what I'm looking for. But I promise you as a student, when you stop focusing on the solo so much and you relax and you take a breath and just focus on being better at what it is that you're training to do, I promise you your landings are going to get better. Just relax, take a breath. The solo is going to come when it does, okay? Just talk to your instructor about it. Make sure that he or she is giving you progress reports and letting you know that you're making progress and stuff like that. But really, if you stop being so obsessed with the solo, it'll come sooner. I promise. I've seen it, okay? All right, guys, that's it. I'll see you.